Wonderful day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. Today, I want to talk about Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is an NFL star. He also happens to be a rookie. And GQ Sports just did a thing where they talked about Jamar's first $1 million and how he spent his first million. So I'm gonna give you a Dr. Boyce breakdown of what Jamar said and kind of give you my 2 cents on what I think about what I read. So buckle up, seatbelt, get comfortable. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under one condition. The condition is that we are Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means we're B1. B1 means we educate our kids. B1 means we break generational curses. We do not continue them. B1 also means that we're planning for the future. So if you believe in the power of Blackness and want to see our people do well, put a hashtag B in the number one in the chat. Also, shout out the city that you're from. Let me know what city you guys are coming from. I know I went live a little bit earlier. I see my name is Corey and Kelvin Thomas and Kevin Liverman, I see you. Let me know what city you guys are coming from. De Montreal. I was just in New Orleans, and New Orleans is where, if I'm not mistaken, Jamar Chase is from. Jamar Chase is the brother that got my attention today. Jamar Chase also had my attention because he's a great football player. If you haven't seen him, he's awesome to watch. You know, he and Joe Burrow were able to take the Bengals back to, was it the Super Bowl that they got to, or did they get to? I think they did get to the Super Bowl. Yeah. And I mean, that's rare. You know, Cincinnati Bengals, that's kind of a garbage franchise for the most part. They're kind of like my Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys ain't been good for 30 years. But anyway, Jamar is a really talented athlete. And he did a GQ Sports thing where he talked about his first million and how he spent his first million. Now, I'm really interested a lot in what athletes and entertainers have to say about money, because athletes and entertainers have a huge impact on the culture. The culture of our community is big in terms of shaping how we view money and the choices we make when it comes to our finances. A lot of people think that, again, I'm telling you guys this as a guy who's taught college students finance for a very long time. A lot of people think that economics is about having access to money, or, getting an inheritance, or being born rich, or going to college and getting a degree. A lot of it's culture. A lot of it really is culture. So ultimately, you got to look at the culture. And when people say, oh, we're doing this for the culture, you have to ask, like, what culture are you talking about? What is the culture doing for us? Is this culture a culture of life, or is it a culture of death? Is it a culture of excellence, or is it a culture of failure? Is it a culture of freedom, or is it a culture that breeds incarceration? So when you talk about the culture, you got to be real thoughtful about this. So I was really curious to see what Jamar Chase was going to say when he talked about how he blew his first million. Now, as I get started, I'm going to go ahead and break this down for you. But so before we begin, though, I want to let you guys know who's sponsoring part of this podcast, realinvestors.com. They're doing a real estate challenge, and there's a brother by the name of Ragland. His last name is Ragland, Sherman Ragland, who is a Wharton MBA, who basically is teaching lots of our people on real estate, cash flow, legacy wealth, etc. He's doing a 21-day challenge right now. And so if you go to that website, realinvestors.com/challenge-2S, you can actually get started with real estate. I encourage you guys to look into real estate, because that's one of the keys to wealth. So with that being said, let me hop back in and talk about Jamar. Okay, so I was looking at what Jamar had to say about his money, and it was interesting. So first thing he said he spent his money on was he said the first $65,000 was spent buying a car for his mother, buying his mother a car. So he bought the car with cash. I don't honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it, because Jamar was working with a lot of money. This brother got a 4-year, $30.8 million contract. And if you know anything about Jamar, you know how that he's worth every penny of that contract. He's probably underpaid. He got a $19 million signing bonus. So you're talking about a lot of money. You're talking about the amount of money that most corporations don't make. Out of the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Black-owned businesses that there are in this country, most of them don't make a fraction of what he made as a 21-year-old football player. Now, this is really important to understand because one of the great areas that it represents an underutilized resource in your community is that many of your athletes have corporate level money. They have enough money to function as a walking corporation. When we talk about building Black-owned businesses, it's not just building a cookie shop or an auto repair store or something like that. Building Black-owned business sometimes could just be an athlete that understands what to do with his resources. So $30 million is a lot of money, even if the IRS is getting half. And I think that just really being thoughtful about where all that money is going is extremely important, because part of building Black wealth comes down to keeping that money in your community, keeping that money in your family, keeping that money in the hands of the people that matter to you. So LeBron James, I think, is a great example. He laid out a nice blueprint where he took care of all his friends, sent his friends to school, hired his friends, and empowered his friends to have great careers. And he also made some great investments along the way. That's why LeBron's a billionaire now. I think Tiger Woods also became a billionaire too, by the way. I don't know if you count Tiger as Black or not. It's up to you to make that decision. But Tiger Woods is out there too. All right. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Also, if you'd like to learn more about wealth and economics, you can get a free e-copy of my book, How to Build Wealth by Investing $5 a Day, by visiting boycewatkins.com. My website's right there on the screen. And also the All Black National Convention happens October 28th through the 30th in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you'd like to learn about crypto and hang out and we have panels on politics and relationships, things on how to invest. We're doing speed dating, a spades tournament. We just have a blast. It's really a lot of fun. It's a great big family reunion. So if that's of interest to you, then just go to boycewatkins.com. The tickets are right there for the convention. Now, with that said, so spending the money on his mom's car, I can't get mad at that. I remember buying my father a car because he wanted one, and I paid cash for it. Now, there are little things that maybe, hopefully, he has financial advisors that can help him do this. Maybe if you start an LLC or start some kind of company and you buy the car under the name of the LLC, it can allow for some, possible tax benefits, things like that. But you got to be real careful about that, because if his mother doesn't actually work for him, or it's not for investment purposes, then that could cause an issue. But it's easy to kind of tie your mother into what you're doing business-wise. Shaquille O'Neal did it. My mother's worked for me for a very long time. So I would say anybody who comes into that kind of money, hire your mama, hire your daddy, hire your relatives. The second thing he mentioned is jewelry and clothes. He spent $50,000 on jewelry and clothes. Now, obviously, that is not something I would necessarily endorse. But then again, he's 21 years old and his contract's for $30 million. I would say, as long as what I would say to him is that if he and I were talking, I'd say, look, man, okay, go ahead and get it out of your system. Go buy the jewelry. I know you got to have the drip and the shine. And again, but this is the culture. This is the culture. This is what you got to be careful about, because when you see guys that feel like I got my little chain. I mean, I can't say, I'm not saying jewelry is bad. I mean, my Lord, jewelry is okay. But the thing about it is that you look at what Jamar did. He buys this big chain with his number. His number is 1, and he's the chosen one. He has the number 1 on his chain, and it's got all these diamonds in it and all that stuff. Well, that's imitating the rappers, And when people tell me rappers don't impact Black culture, I tell you, I'm like, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. These young guys copy what they see the rappers do. And the first thing a lot of rappers do is they'll go to Jake the jeweler and they'll spend $500,000 on chains. And I would rather see you spend $500,000 on dealing with the poverty in your hood. How about you spend that $500,000 going and creating some jobs in that damn neighborhood you came from, where people getting shot and ain't no hope over there? And again, I'm not mad. I sound frustrated. And I'm only frustrated because I see things maybe they don't see. But I would just say that, sometimes we have this mindset that says, the only thing I can really do for my hood is go and throw some money around. Like I can go to a Walmart on Christmas and pay off pay for all the toys for all the single mothers, or at Thanksgiving I can give away turkeys as charity. Well, your community is not charity. Your community can be an investment. In fact, investment is better than charity. Charity is like it's like a boat with a sail. If the wind is blowing right, then it can get you somewhere, but it ain't gonna get you far very fast. An investment is like having a jet airplane with a powerful engine that's very determined, very deliberate, that will move you much, much faster than a boat with a sail. So when you when you're doing charity, charity is nice, but charity tends to be for disabled people, children, or maybe women who are mothers, right? Who can't go to work every day. But when you talk about a grown ass, able bodied, intelligent black man who's capable of working hard for his money, you're not helping that man by giving him charity. You're helping him by giving him opportunity. You're helping him by giving him skill. You're helping him by giving him a job. There's something about a man working that really brings out the best in that man. So what I would say to some of these athletes is, stop thinking that everything starts and stops with charity. Giving away your money is not the best way to help your people, and it's also going to drain you. You're going to go broke trying to give charity to a bunch of able-bodied people. Now, what else would I say? He talked about clothes. He spent $50K on clothes. Honestly, again, I don't think that's a big deal because, again, he's $30 million contract. You could spend $50K on clothes and still be okay. He spent $1,000 on tattoos. That's where my age comes into play. I grew up at a time where, putting all those tattoos on your body wasn't necessarily cool, but I guess now everybody wants to get tattoos from head to toe and all that. I don't know nothing about it. I ain't judging. It is what it is. He mentioned family debts. He said he gave $15,000 to each relative or all of his siblings, $15,000 a piece. And I think that's cool. Like, share the wealth a little bit. That's difficult. That's really tough. That's a tough aspect of protecting wealth that a lot of us forget about, is that when you come into that kind of money, people are bringing all their problems to you. You become almost like the financial pope, where everybody's coming to you with, I'm getting evicted again. I need money for this again. And it's just, it drives you crazy. People bring harebrained schemes to you. They bring ridiculous business ideas to you. And then half the people that you loan money to never pay you back because they think that you don't need it and it's not a big deal. So they rather destroy their friendship with you and never talk to you again than to actually pay you back. And I've seen this. This happened in my own family. I got a cousin like that who borrowed like $3,000 from me. And every time he sees me 6 years later, he still ducks me every time. I'm sitting there thinking, this is crazy. Like, you can't even walk up and talk to me about this money. You just would rather hide from me for the rest of your life. What kind of man are you? That's very strange to me. And so basically, I like the fact that he put a limit on it. I think the charity is good. I think it's nice to share, your success and your wealth. I think the problem is you got to kind of know where to draw the line. You have to be able to create boundaries. And so ultimately, I think it sounds like he's trying to create those boundaries, and I encourage him to continue to do that. Then he talks to the sixth thing he mentioned is he paid off his mama's house. I can't get mad at that. I paid off my mama's house, so guilty as charged. I think as long as you're handling your business, you can do what you want. He mentioned rookie dinners, about $20,000 worth of those. Again, $30 million contract, not a big deal. Then he talked about his car. He got a $300,000 Rolls Royce. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that, right? I get that. You've dreamed about this car. This is good, a big deal for you. My thought is that if you're going to be extravagant when it comes to buying your Rolls Royce, show me something that's extravagantly productive that you're also going to do with your money. What extravagant, powerful business investment are you making for an equal or greater amount that is going to cover the cost of the Rolls Royces and everything else? And so ultimately, I'm not going to sit here and knock the guy for about a $300,000 car. I think he can afford it, but I kind of think that that's where either having financial literacy or having advisors who truly care about you really matters. I'd be really curious to know who his advisors are. One area you could start is that if you're a black man in the NFL, your advisor should be black. You should at least try your best. You're a lawyer. You should try your best. Get you a black lawyer. If you should try your best, get you a black accountant. You should try your best. Get you a black manager. If you try, get you a black agent. So you got to understand the Jewish people do that. Other people do that. They don't understand why you don't do that. And because here's the deal. When people get around you and they know you've got money and power, they're going to be hooking up all their friends and eating off of you. If you hire, Saul Robinski to be your accountant and you suddenly need business opportunities, Saul is going to guide you away from your people. He's going to say, nah, don't invest with that black guy. That's kind of shady. He's not going to say it like that, but that's what he's going to say. And then he's going to drive you toward his cousin, Vinny. and his cousin Vinny is going to have a business deal that they're going to want you to put your money into. And this is all, again, this is what they this is what they do. They keep the resources in their community. Now, in terms of the type of advisors you want to have, in my view, I think you'd want to understand your community is more than just athletes and entertainers. You've got so many Black folks out here that have advanced degrees in accounting, advanced degrees in legal studies, PhDs, all kinds of expertise. And one of the things that we should be most offended about as Black people is that because they promote the athlete and entertainer so much, or the comedian, or the thug and the gangster, they put the intelligent Black people to the back. And one of the reasons I give Ice Cube tremendous credit is that Ice Cube understood when he went into the political arena. He said, I'm going to use my platform to get attention to the cause, but I'm not going to assume that I should be the leading expert. So he went and got Black scholars. He got Black attorneys. He got Black people that understood the issues to advise him. I was one of the advisors. I was one of the guys who just said, okay, well, here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I think might be going on. And he masterfully went out and utilized his platform for the benefit of the Black community by getting advice from the right people. And I just thought that was brilliant of him. And it's no different. If I was going to go out and make a hip hop album, I'm not going to be in the studio trying to rap. I'm not going to be at the machine trying to make a beat. I'm going to go hire the best rappers and beat makers I can find and get people that are tastemakers and say, here's my money, here's my power, here's my resource. Go make me a good song. You understand? So ultimately, that's just what it is. Now, let's see here. Doc, can you do a recap of the real estate seminar that took place? You know what, Mike? That's not my seminar. That was a Herb Strathers event. So I don't have a recap of it. It's not my intellectual property, but we do have a lot of real estate stuff that happens in the Black Business School. So by the way, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, and I'll put that Black Business School URL on the screen if you want to go take a look. The Black Business School is very good, and you can get started for free. And we have tons of experts in almost every single functional area. So I'll put it on the screen so you can take a look. So anyway, so here's the deal. So with Jamar Chase and what he did with his money, I actually thought that, he did exactly what I would expect a 21-year-old with a $30 million contract to do. Right. And what my job would be is to step in as an OG and to say, okay, here's some things you want to think about as you evolve. The problem for a lot of professional athletes is they get all their money while they're young. And unfortunately, you're young and you're a little bit stupid. I'm not calling you dumb or trying to disrespect you. But when I was 21, my brain was nowhere near what it is when I'm 51. It just wasn't. Your brain's not even fully developed when you're 21. So what happens with a lot of athletes is they blow the whole bag. They throw away all the money. And then they get about 33 or 34 when they're getting old and the NFL is kicking them out, or the NBA is booting you out. And then they start realizing, man, all this money I wasted. Did anybody see, who was it? There was one guy, not Kyrie Irving, the other one that played for the play with LeBron that messed up. J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith, went on a podcast recently and talked about the millions of dollars that he made that he wasted on silly stuff that could have been spent elevating the Black community. And this is the culture. It's the culture. There's nothing natural about wanting to go put $100,000 in a stripper thong. That's just nasty anyway. I mean, it's the pandemic. You should be social distancing. You're going to catch a disease like that, trying to shove that much money up a lady's butt crack. But, it just doesn't make any sense. But the culture throws it out there for you. And it's kind of, it's kind of like something people do. A lot of people that don't know themselves, they just say, well, I'm going to just follow the culture. I'm going to follow what everybody else is doing, because that way I can be popular and people will look up to me and I'll fit in. And I'm just saying to you that when you're doing this, you're hurting your people, because there are so many people whose lives could be changed if you were to position those resources in a way that creates opportunities for other people. That gets to the last point. The last area, when Jamar, they asked him what he did with the rest of his first $1 million. He said, I saved it. Let me, first of all, give him a round of applause and say, very good, brother. I'm very happy to hear that you said that. I think that's awesome. Beautiful. Here's the problem. Saving will never, ever get you rich or keep you rich. LeBron James is retiring as a billionaire. He did not become a billionaire by saving his NBA salary. He didn't. LeBron did not become a billionaire by saving his NBA salary. LeBron would not be a billionaire if he relied on his endorsement money. He's got a lot of endorsements, but that's not enough to get him to be a billionaire. LeBron became a billionaire because early in his career, when he was Jamar Chase's age, he sat down with people like Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett explained to him how to be an investor. Being an investor supercharges and supersizes the vast possibilities of your economic potential. It is nearly impossible in this country for you to save your way to wealth. Inflation is going to kill your money anyway. But then on top of that, you're not able to benefit from all the different ways you could put your money in places that's going to make it grow. So if I'm a Jamar Chase, I don't just look at the fact that I can catch touchdowns and run down the field like nobody's business. This man is a great, great athlete. But even as great of an athlete as you are, Jamar, you are a greater brand. You have tremendous influence. You can walk into places that a lot of us can't go. Black folks don't get invited to places that Jamar Chase will get invited to because he runs a 40-yard dash in 4.3 seconds and can catch footballs like nobody's business. With that power, that gives you that ability to go sit in rooms and sit at tables and command power amongst those who have tremendous resources. But to do that effectively, you need to have the right advisors around you. You need to have people around you who understand the world of high finance. You need people around you who understand what business deals look like. You want people around you that are going to make sure that even as you're enjoying your money and buying the Rolls Royces and the jewelry and all that, they're taking the other half of your money and putting it in places where your money's going to be able to grow. LeBron James's money grew tremendously because he hung out. Also, in addition to Warren Buffett, he met a lot of people in Silicon Valley and invested in some of these startups. He also met people in Hollywood and was able to use his power to form a production company that makes movies that end up on Netflix, where Netflix will buy his film for $80 million or whatever. So that's how you end up really leveraging your stuff. And here's what you do, though. Here's what you do. If you're really smart and you're really pro-Black and you're an athlete, what you do is this. You use that leverage to go in there and make those deals and get your money in the right spots, tag on to the right deals, and then you bring all that back to the hood. You got to bring two things back to your people. One, actually at least three things. One, you got to bring access back. You got to bring back the access. Malcolm X used to say, if you can't respect all my people, then you don't respect me. So you bring back that access. Number two, you're bringing back knowledge. You make sure that your experts and advisors are teaching people from where you come from. You Jay-Z from the Marcy Projects. You should have thousands, hundreds, dozens, hundreds, thousands of people in the Marcy Projects area in Brooklyn, teaching people everything that you know about how to get that money, how to build those businesses. Those people have all the ambition in the world, and they shouldn't be sitting back just worshiping Jay-Z. That's not of benefit to them. That's a benefit to you, but it's not a benefit to them. So the access, the knowledge, and the last piece is you're just simply bringing back the resources. So, if I was sitting there talking to Kanye West, Kanye West did call my phone. I kid you not. I talked on the phone to Kanye for a few minutes. Honestly, it was really Kanye talking about Kanye. That's kind of what Kanye does. And I didn't enjoy talking to Kanye as much as I enjoy talking to Ice Cube. Ice Cube seems to get things. Kanye's a little tougher to communicate with. He means well, but we weren't on the same wavelength. And if I was to have 1 second to get him to listen, I would say, look, white people love you. They buy your albums, they come to your concerts. I look at your concerts, I see it's a crowd full of white people. They're paying you millions of dollars to export your amazing talent to the world. God bless you for that. I think that's great. But what I would like to see you do is force their hand a little bit, force their hand. And I would just say to them, look, if you really love me, then you're going to love my people. And the way you show you love my people is this. We're going to raise $1 billion for a fund, an investment fund, where all that money is going to go right back into the Black community. You'll get none of this. You'll get no benefit from any of this. The only benefit you get is you get to stay my friend. I go to banks, I go to whatever, anybody, any white person out here who claims to be woke, who says Black Lives Matter, I literally jack them. Every one of them, I say, you write a check for 10 million, you write a check for 10 million, you write a check for 10 million. And then what I do is I collect all that money, and then I get a panel of trusted people from the community who have the expertise to know what to do with that money. And I use my celebrity power to get that money. And I say, here you go. Here you go. I'm the hunter and gatherer. I'm bringing home the bacon, and I want y'all to cook it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does this make sense? Do you get this? Give me a yes in the chat. I'm just kind of doing a stream of consciousness here. So I hope that this conversation helps. So I literally say, hey, I got these white folks to love me. They're all, telling me how great I am. So I'm literally forcing their hand and saying, if you believe that I'm as great as you say that I am, then you will write this damn check. No excuses. And I'm piling this money up and I'm bringing it home, just like a mama bird bringing home worms for the baby birds, right? Or whatever, right? Just like I go out in the world and I hustle and make money. I bring it home to my wife and I say, okay, babe, here's the money. Do what you got to do with it, right? So then what happens is you have this panel of experts, right? And these are people that really care about the community. There's no bullshit agenda. They're just really trying to make the hood better. So maybe you have some people that are running like these community centers, making sure that they're properly funded. You got people out here running Black-owned schools that are literally educating children better than the public school. And they're doing it on a budget of like $30,000 a year. What the hell, man? While the public school is getting $1 billion a year to fuck your kids up. I'm sorry. I know I don't mean to cuss, but I'm sorry. They're messing our kids' brains up. They're getting $1 billion a year to destroy the most valuable resource in your community, to destroy your children. You're paying them to poison your kids. And you got people like the brother that's running Freedom Home Academy International, that Marcus Klein. Brothers like that are literally educating your kids at a very high level on a shoestring, while the other public schools are getting billions of dollars to ruin our children's brains. That's got to stop, man. That's got to stop. So these entertainers and athletes, if you want to really help your hood, the hood that took care of you when nobody cared who you were, then go and get some resources so they can make a damn investment. There should be Black-owned, with all the damn talented athletes we have in this country, all the entertainers that are on the Forbes list and making all this money. We should have a chain of Black-owned schools all throughout this country. We should have a whole chain of them, for at least 500, 600, 700, 1,000 schools that Black teachers are running. This is when you step out. You take you and your ego can go sit to the side. We taking care of the kids now. Where the Black teachers that love our children are running, they're leaving the public schools to go work at these schools. They're getting paid $80,000, $100,000 a year to do a good job and to love on these kids and really prepare them for the future. That takes you back to what you had before integration, when you started believing that your oppressor was going to educate your children better than the people that love them. And now you're finding out the result. The result is that many of these kids get out of school. They can't read, they can't write, they can't do math. They don't know how to start a business. They don't know how to survive. So they out here just struggling. So what else would you do with that money? With that multi-billion-dollar fund, you have business entrepreneurs that know what the hell they're doing. They're good at running businesses. You give them white people money, they can kill the game. They can take, I just with stuff I do with the Black Business School, I can do more with $100,000 than most of these idiots can do with $5 million. I know this because my PhD is in finance. I know exactly where to put money to flip it. I can flip it like a dope deal. It's easy to do for me because that's my superpower. The same way Jamar Chase can run down the field with lightning speed and catch the football 80 yards down the field. Well, I can do that when it comes to finance. Except the difference is I've been doing this 30 years. I'm the OG at this. I know this stuff like the back of my hand. So the problem that you have is that when you have people like this that have superpowers in areas other than sports and entertainment, they don't get the resources. Well, because racism starves these people out. They marginalize these people. So to me, you put some of these you put tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in the hands of some of these black women that know how to run great businesses, some of these black men that know how to be great investors. Watch what they do. They can build a nation off of that. You have people that are experts in real estate that could take you back to your old hood, take that money, and next thing you know, you're buying entire city blocks. And because you've got real estate experts in your community that know how to leverage the hell out of money, but you got to be kind of tough with it. You have to be a little bit gangster with it. So again, you're the celebrity. So you use your celebrity power to go put pressure on those banks to make loans to the real estate experts in your consortium so they can go through and they can buy apartment buildings and stuff like that. I just spent a whole weekend in Detroit with Herb Strather and Gary Shelton, two guys who've done over $1 billion in real estate deals, and they're trying to take Detroit back. Detroit is a city that has a majority black population. It makes no sense that Detroit is run by people who are not black. It makes no sense. You got all these famous athletes and entertainers out of Detroit. Why don't you own your damn hood? Why don't you own your community? That's insanity to me. So ultimately, my point is to say, I'm not putting all this on Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase, again, what I heard what he said, personally, I would just tell him, hey, look, don't just save your money. Make sure it's getting properly invested. Make sure it's getting invested in a safe way, in a way that's going to benefit the people from the community you come from. The people in your community should be better off because you existed. They should have opportunities and jobs because that they would not normally have because of you. When you are a black man with that kind of money, millions and millions of dollars, I hate saying it, but there is an extra added responsibility that you have to take the time to delegate to people that have the skills necessary for you to truly scale up the impact that you can have with that kind of money. You can't just run around and take $30 million and drop it in stripper thongs. I'm not saying Jamar Chase is going to do that, but y'all know that there are some athletes who've done that. And unfortunately, they've shirked their responsibility. When you look at even a guy like Allen Iverson, when he talks about how he spent his money and how he just literally threw his money in the toilet, remember, you're throwing the futures of children in the toilet when you do that. When Antoine Walker jokes about how much money, how he lost $100 million, well, that easily could have been $1 billion for black people. There are people who will live in poverty now who could have been taken out of poverty if somebody had really challenged him to do some intelligent, thoughtful things with that money to allow him to truly have the impact that he should have had. So I think that as a people, we got to really start stepping in early, start letting, just putting a little bit of weight on the guys to kind of say, look, man, the amount of money and resources you have makes you a natural leader. You may not want to be a black leader, but in a country where economics is king, you can't sit on resources like that and then act like you're just a regular guy or think that you have a regular amount of time to waste before you actually come into consciousness. Because some of the athletes, unfortunately, they don't become really conscious about their economic power until they don't have it anymore. Until you got eight babies mamas all sucking up your money. Deshaun Watson. I'm looking at Deshaun Watson, and I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson, he got suspended 6 games or whatever, and he's going to pay a few $100,000 or maybe actually a few $1 million over these allegations of sexual misconduct. I don't think Deshaun should go to jail. I think the proof does matter, but I'm sitting here thinking, why would you be sitting on this massive amount of resources and be wasting so much money due to the fact that you have really bad habits when it comes to the types of people that you're around or the types of choices that you're making? I'm not trying to say that he necessarily is doing the things that he's accused of, but 24 allegations is a big number. And that clearly tells me that there's smoke. And when there's smoke, there's usually fire. So, that's something that I personally think is a big waste. Same thing. I would say the same thing about Bill Cosby. You know, that you literally have probably paid over $100 million to all these different women who are accusing you of crazy things that allegedly happened in the 60s and the 70s. That $100 million could have went toward building schools and businesses for Black people. But instead, you've got people who don't even like Black people, who ain't got nothing to do with the community, who are walking away with $100 million of our money because you can't keep your stuff in your pants, because you didn't want to spend more time with your wife. Again, I'd say this without saying that I believe Cosby's guilty or innocent. I believe proof does matter. I believe that there is a statute of limitations to some extent, that you can't just tell a story from 1974 and expect everyone to believe you because you're a white woman. I don't believe that at all. I think that that Cosby should not be in jail. But at the same time, I just look at him and I say, man, like, that was such a waste. You know, why were you just thinking about yourself? You weren't thinking about the community. Because if you had a Manny Pacquiao mindset, remember, Manny Pacquiao saw his success as an opportunity for him to do something for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in his community. Muhammad Ali had that mindset. When Muhammad Ali was successful, he said, this is for everybody. This ain't just for me. But for some reason now we got a mindset where people say, well, it's just about me and mine and that's it. Who told you that, man? That's crazy to me. You know, I got a PhD. My doctorate belongs to the whole community. I'm supposed to, sure, I could take care of myself and I've made my money and I've had a good, I'm having a good life and all that. But after that, beyond that, I got to share this. I have to do, I'm sitting here talking to you guys at midnight because I said I felt the need to share this idea, because I know that the things I say are going to change somebody's life. I know that I can explain some things to you that will shape how you view and understand economics. So I had to do this. I had to have this conversation with you. So I just don't understand this idea when guys start getting selfish like that. It is very anti-Black, and we need all hands on deck. If you're gonna white supremacy, let me just say this, and then I'm gonna be done. And by the way, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And I want to remind everybody, by the way, if you like the podcast, you want to support it, or you want to just support yourself, we have flashcards for children, financial flashcards. So you can go to financialflashcards.com. We put together a bundle pack of the two different types of cards. So if you'd like to train your kids on wealth and economics, just go to financialflashcards.com. The last point I'll make on this is white supremacy is a team sport. White supremacy is a team sport. White people never could have enslaved you if they had not been coordinating their activities. When people operate as a team, they have power that you don't have as an individual. That's why the mafia had power, because it was organized crime. That's why governments have power, because it is organized activities. It's a group of people working toward a common goal. Jamar Chase gets this. The Cincinnati Bengals made it to the Super Bowl because they were an organized team that worked hard to achieve a common goal. So the question I would ask any Black person is, what team are you playing for? And don't say no team, because everybody has to have a team. What team are you playing for? And you're doing well, you're making money, you're on top of the world, you're super famous. God bless you for that. But what team are you playing for? And if you're playing for a team, if you're playing for Team Black people, then act like it. Act like it. Your success does not belong to you. Your success belongs to us. All of us are winning because you're winning. Without the us, there is no I, there is no me. And so really, when we talk about the culture, we have to shift the culture. That's it. That's my 2 cents. Can't wait to see Jamar Chase next season. I think he's super talented, and I believe there are a lot of athletes who do get this. So I'm not saying all athletes are stupid or anything like that. I just think that economic wokeness and awareness should be a requirement for any Black person who has access to that kind of money and that kind of power. If we all are woke and we're getting information from each other and we're working as the same team, there's nothing that can stop us. You could fix all your problems in your community overnight if everybody got on the same page and decided to go out here and jack these fools and make them pay up that $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 billion that we can use to put right into our own schools, our own businesses, our own everything. So that's my 2 cents. I think that all these people that say that they love you, all these corporations, all these banks, this NFL, the NBA, I believe that they need to all pay up. Don't tell me you love me. Don't tell me Black Lives Matter. Write a damn check. If you can't write a check, then your talk is cheap. Your talk means nothing if you can't write a check. If you can't write a check, you get no respect. That should be their motto. All right, everybody. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Financialflashcards.com is where you can go to take a look at our financial flashcards for kids. Somebody asked me to mention the stock that I like. The stock I like is actually Amazon. That's my stock pick of the week. And also, I want to say thank you to the brother who's sponsoring this podcast. His name is Sherman Ragland, who runs realinvestors.com. His URL's on the screen. He's doing an investing challenge for those who want to get started in real estate. So the URL's on the screen, realinvestors.com/challenge.2s. If you'd like to sponsor one of the podcast episodes and have me shout out your brand or your platform or your business or whatever it is you'd like for me to shout out, just go to drboycefinance.com and you can advertise on the platform as well. So anyway, have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.